Okay, so the Lord blessed me with the. With,
Just turn this up a little bit.
yeah, sure.
Turn this up. There, just like that.
Yeah. So just in my earlier years, my early 20s, just in my journey with the Lord, and reading the scriptures, like in particular the story about Jesus being baptized by John in the Jordan River. I began to have this desire that just was awakened in me to go to Israel, and I just was like, God, I want to go to Israel so bad. I want to be baptized in that Jordan River like you were, Jesus. And we were going to a Messianic Jewish synagogue in Fresno with Jewish believers in Jesus, Yeshua, Messiah. And they have, as I was attending, not long after I had prayed this prayer and this desire was awakening in me, that the teacher there, Amnon, he began to inform us of a trip to Israel that was coming up, and I was like, oh wow, Lord, I would love to go. Just prayed and brought it before the Lord, and so the Lord answered that prayer, and my grandma paid for my mom and I to go to Israel. Well, on their trip to Israel, we saw many of the famous sites and things, and we get to Tel Aviv, and we stay in a hotel there. And as we're staying in the hotel, it's a really nice hotel. They got a large indoor pool and jacuzzis and a big old spa and the big old steam room. And so I'm swimming, having a good time, and I go into the steam room, and it's huge, man. It's a big old steam room, and I go in there to sit down, and all these guys come in, and it look like they're all really close friends or relatives or cousins or brothers or something, because they're all laughing and playing with each other and just like whipping each other with towels and like just carrying on and just like a big family. They look like a big family. You know how families get silly with each other, and they're like that. And I was like, wow, how beautiful. And I just looked at it and I admired it. I was like, this culture is just really rich and just it's not like our Western culture. And I was like, man, look at how they're just having a playful time and loving each other and being a family. And they start singing, and it's this really beautiful Arabic, Middle Eastern type melodies that they're singing, and stuff like kind of desert sounding, ancient Israel kind of sounding stuff, and I'm like, wow, this is cool. And so I start kind of chiming in with them. I'm sitting off by myself, and they're all together on the other side of the room. And they take notice of me kind of humming a melody with them. And then they're all like, hey, hey, look, and so that, some of them knew English, and they asked me, hey, why don't you sing us a song, And so I was like, all right, I'm going to sing a song that they're really going to love, And they'll surely love. They'll know this song. So I had practiced some Israeli music, and it was like my time to shine and share some of that with Israel at that moment. So I was like, all right. So I began to sing this song. Hava Nagila, Hava Nagila, Hava Nagila Ve Nismecha. belev sameach, urachim belev sameach, urachim belev sameach, urachim, urachim belev sameach. Yeah, and I was expecting this great big roar of applause from my audience, and I was like, yeah, I nailed it, right? And it was like you could hear the crickets going in the background, and they were just kind of all looking at each other, and then one guy, he gave me like this little courtesy laugh. He's all, like maybe one of them. And I was like, wow, that's kind of weird. I was expecting a little bit, better of a response than that. And I was like, And then I was just kind of bewildered and what's going on. And they all got up and they left. And, they were all kind of looking at me funny. And so after they left, I was there for a few more moments. And then I got up and I went back out to the pool. And there at the pool, there was a young man, a Jewish man, cleaning the pool. And he looks at me and he shakes his head. I'm like, what's going on with this guy, right? And then he approaches me and he says, man, I got to ask you, what's wrong with you? Is there something wrong with you? Like, are you stupid or something? And I was like, what are you talking about, man? I just put on the show of a lifetime, man. You should be happy too, right? I'm like, what's this guy talking about? It kind of threw me back. I was kind of shocked. I was like, I was like, man, first these guys and now this guy, he's upset with me. What's going on, right? And he says, he goes, those guys were not Jewish. Those guys were Muslim. And you sang a Jewish song to all those Muslim people. And he said, you're lucky they didn't beat you silly. And he just shook his head and laughed at me. And so that was my story there. And it was unintentional. I wasn't trying to be rude or invasive. Or I thought I was doing something that they would love, because I was under the impression they were all Jewish. But they were all Arabs. And that was not the right song to sing for them. I guess it was kind of like a mockery, maybe like a kind of a slap in the face, because they're at enmity, with each other. So anyway, so that's my story.